The newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Gerard de la Peña. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA has approved 60 projects or over 33 billion pesos worth of investments in the first 4 months of 2023. PEZA says this more than double the almost 16 billion pesos worth of investments approved in the same period last year. PEZA attributed the higher investment approvals to President Bongbong Marcos's recent trips overseas, which were aimed at attracting foreign investors. PEZA says the new and expansion projects are projected to generate more than $1 billion worth of exports and nearly 7,500 jobs. 7 projects related to logistics service enterprise were approved in April, along with 4 projects in export manufacturing and 3 involving IT enterprises. The Bureau of Internal Revenue has exceeded its target collection in the first 4 months of the year. The BIR said it collected nearly 838 billion pesos from January to April, around 1.8% above its target. The agency aims to collect 2.6 trillion pesos this year. BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr. is confident in achieving this goal, citing intensified tax services and digitalization. The national government's outstanding debt as a share of the gross domestic product inched up to 61% as of end March. Data from the Treasury Bureau shows that the latest debt-to-GDP ratio is slightly higher than the 60.9% recorded as of end December. This as the government's outstanding debt stood at a record high of 13.86 trillion pesos as of end March, while the Philippine economy grew by 6.4% in the first quarter of 2022. It is also still above the 60% threshold, which is considered manageable by multilateral lenders for developing economies. However, it is well within the 60 to 62% target under the Philippine Development Plan. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Gerard de la Peña. The Agriculture Department eyes to finalize the importation plan for onions by June. The Assistant Secretary Christine Evangelista said the importation will happen during lean season. She explained that they don't want imported commodities to affect the local supply from local farmers. The Bureau of Plant Industry warned that the current stock of white onions will only last until September, while the supply of red onions in the market is only good until around November.
So yung pag-angkat natin will happen on lean season para hindi po naman maapektuhan ang ani ng ating mga magsasaka. Ang peak po ng ani natin ay March, April, May and June meron pa rin po tayong naaani pero hindi po kasing dami nung ating inani ng April.
The Governance Commission for GOCCs or GCG is waiting for the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines to submit their positions on the proposed merger. This as the GCG says it has yet to issue a final decision on the proposed merger. Citing a Supreme Court ruling, the GCG earlier said it had the authority to merge both state-run banks without legislation. However, the Commission says it required the two banks to submit their position in line with the evaluation of the merger, saying that it must still undergo due process under the Constitution. Last week, Finance Chief Ben Jokno said that Malacanang may issue an executive order approving the merger where Land Bank would be the surviving entity. Twitter CEO Elon Musk reveals that he has found a new chief executive for the social media platform and its newly named X Corporation parent. In a tweet, Musk announced that he has hired a new CEO but did not disclose the identity of the woman replacing him. Musk says the new chief executive will take his place in 6 weeks. For his part, Musk said he would transition to being an executive chair and will oversee product, software, and system operations. The move is likely to allay Tesla investors' concerns about the time Musk has been devoting to turning Twitter around. Europe is on high alert as droughts hit the continent decades earlier than predicted. Bloomberg reports from southern Spain, where the competition for water is creating conflict between farmers, large agribusinesses, environmentalists, and governments.
Europe is struggling for a second year with extreme hot and dry weather. Drought is straining precious water resources and putting the continent on alert.
I'm in the town of Letur in south-central Spain, where a small group of farmers are trying to preserve an ancient irrigation system that they say is sustainable. In this town, farmers are afraid that years of drought is pushing large-scale growers to try to tap into their water sources and could be a threat for their underground aquifer.
Competition for water is creating conflict between various groups: large agribusiness and small farmers, environmental activists and pro-business lobbies, and local and central governments. A rush for water is raising concerns of more water theft. There are already over 1 million illegal wells used mainly for irrigation in Spain, according to Greenpeace. Those tensions are on display in Almeria, a province 2 hours south of Letur that has become the heartland of the country's 18 billion euro fresh fruit and vegetable sector. In the town of Pulpí, the drought is forcing farmers to buy or rent land with access to water hundreds of miles away. And Caravaca de la Cruz has depleted more than half of its water resources already. Local environmentalists warn that if nothing is done, the region is doomed for environmental collapse. The fight over water in Spain could foretell what's to come for the rest of the continent. Water levels at Italy's longest river, the Po, are at historic lows, choking its most productive agricultural region. France suffered its longest rainless spell during a winter on record. The country now aims to cut water consumption by 10% by the end of this decade. The economic fallout is big. Dry rivers are snarling up freight passage and curbing power generation. It could also mean steep losses for farmers in agricultural powerhouses such as Spain and Italy.
And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Gerard de la Peña. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.